everyone. Let's do another set of updates just to start off the week. Hope you guys are geared and ready for an amazing week. Got lots of stuff that's going on this week. We'll talk a little bit about that. Obviously, the pre-sale, the private sale for Rev as we get closer and closer to the Manor Farm and obviously the drip miner that everybody's waiting for. In the meanwhile, we'll take a quick look at the market. Market's going through a little bit of a correction, but these miners, these miners are still paying. And sometimes when these tokens, these coins are dipping in price, dropping in price, whatever you want to call it, having these miners is always a good play, right? So we'll take a quick look at them. The beauty of these miners, I mentioned it before, is none of them have really drained down to zero, right? Because they have an algorithm that it slows down the passive payout as the contract starts to decrease, right? And it is a good thing because it enables people to interact with the contract longer. Of course, some of you degens that will look at that and say, hey, I can jump in here now, even though it's going down, and buy up these miners at a very, very cheap price. I'm not saying for you to do that. But some of you guys that are, gamblers, we're all kind of gamblers. We're all in the crypto space. We all kind of have that tendency. But some of you guys that are super duper degens might do that. I'm not telling you to do that, but there's a lot of different ways you can gamify these contracts. Anyway, let's jump into it. Of course, it goes without saying that you should do your own research, do your own due diligence. Everything I talk about is risky. There are no guarantees whatsoever out here. So again, do your own research. Only put in what you can afford to lose, guys, okay? Risk capital only, because again, these things can go sideways pretty quick. A lot of it is about timing, really, especially with these miners. You got to get in early. You got to get in when they just launched or within the first, day. Typically, if you do that, you will be all right. Of course, we're experiencing, when I say we, I'm talking about me, I'm experiencing these miners in real time, just like you guys are. So, it's very interesting to say the least. I'm in a bunch of them, as you guys probably already know, but we'll go through that. Again, market going through a little bit of a correction. Hex, you can see Hex right now, nice little dip here. If you wanted to load your bags up with Hex, might be a good entry point. It's down almost 11%. Ethereum down a little bit, but yeah, man, that's a nice price still, 3,800. Of course, Bitcoin doing its thing. I think the all-time high for Bitcoin was 63K, if I'm not mistaken. So getting close. But yeah, everything else seems to be red right now. Anyway, again, these miners are paying out, which is a good thing. Let's cover a couple of these things. Obviously, the private sale is going to start, I believe, tomorrow for those people that are in the DAO. And then after that, they'll go into a public raise and then the public sale, which I believe you'll be able to do right here. Again, this isn't live yet, so don't do anything here. I don't think you can anyway. The button is not live, but here you'll be able to participate in the public sale. So again, just because you're trying to get into the private sale or the public raise doesn't guarantee that you're going to get in. So be ready at any point. There might be a likelihood that you're going to have to go into the public sale. It's not a bad thing. For me, it's about getting in early. If you can get in at any point, you're going to be okay. Case in point with Drip had a private sale. It also had a public sale. It also had a public pre-sale. People were able to get in. I think the price was $7.50. And then when it launched, kind of spiked in price. People sold, locked in their profits. Price tanked, I think, all the way down to about $3 and $3.50. Didn't happen immediately, but it happened, after the launch. A lot of people loaded up their bags with Drip when it was at $3.50. So people that waited at that point actually got it cheaper than the price that it was going for during the pre-sale. Not saying that it's going to happen here, but I've seen that happen before. You know what I mean? Where people didn't get into the ICO or an IDO of something, they waited, price dropped, and they loaded up their bags after the fact. So again, different ways that you can play this game. I'm not telling you what to do. Everyone's going to have their own strategy of doing things, but yeah, this is what's going to happen here? You're going to be able to send BUSD. You're going to receive the P-Rev tokens, right? The pre-sale Rev tokens. Then you're going to get these tokens, and it'll be a one-for-one swap for the actual Rev token once liquidity is added. And then you can go ahead and, if you want, jump into these farms. I'm not saying for you to do that. Do what you want to do. Some of you guys might want to bypass this altogether. I don't know. Different ways you can play this. Some people are going to just skip this and go right into the drip miner, right? That's what they're waiting for from messages that I've received. So it'll be interesting to say the least, but we'll see. We'll see. All of this high risk, right? Yeah, it'll be fun to see this play out over the next couple of weeks. Drip doing its thing still, $15.42. I mean, I don't sit by the sidelines and do nothing until the drip miner launches. You don't have a position in the fountain, or the faucet, rather, the faucet contract, get you a position in the faucet contract. This pays out 1% a day, 365%. Yeah, it's a lot of people, have made an amazing amount of profit with with the faucet. So again, this is not going to be replaced. In my opinion, it's not going to be the miner in the farm is not going to be a replacement for the faucet. It's going to be an addition to. So I'm going to be playing with all these things. Okay, I'm not abandoning the faucet to jump into the miner. I'm going to be doing all of it, because why not, right? Have all these different ways to make passive crypto, and you basically get run down with crypto coming at you every which way. It's not a bad thing, right? Anyway, that's what's going on there. Just a quick update before I jump into these miners. Some of you guys have asked for a BNB business, because you're in this, right? So this one's still paying out. It's still doing its thing. It's a slow burn, right? Where it gets paid out a little bit slower than these miners, but it's working. For me, as long as the contract is working, I'm good to go. Wire token dipping in price a little bit. This was at, I believe, at $1.30. Now it's at $1.19. So we'll see what happens here, but the platform itself is working. So let's jump into these miners. As you can see here, BNB miner, the OG 5300 BNB still on the contract. Again, this hasn't drained all the way down to zero. You would think it would. If it was a traditional basic ROI contract, this contract would have been drained already, especially with all these different forks and clones that have come out. This one would have been drained, but because of the algorithm that it has, it slows down the passive payout. And for people that are drawing, all they're doing is drawing, they get a little bit less payout. People that are compounding will get a little bit more payout. So it incentivizes people and it rewards people to put back into the contract. Again, have your strategy, do what you need to do with it. I'm just saying that these things aren't drained. None of these miners have drained yet. When I say yet, because I guess eventually they will at some point, but it's a slow burn, which is good, because it's a good thing. Like if you see, I'm just going around to these different contracts, seeing what they're doing. Some of them I'll withdraw, some of them I'll compound, some of them, I'm in profit with, some of them I'm not in profit with. So, it's interesting. It's just something fun to do while the market is doing their thing. But yeah, these things have been doing really, really well. But BNB miner, 5300 BNB in the contract, BUSD farm. This one here has come down quite a bit as well, 627,000 BUSD. Still a lot of money in there, don't get me wrong. But this was at $1 million at one point. And again, it was paying 10%. Now it's paying a lot less, but it's still paying, right? The key is that these things are paying. So what's the strategy, right? Strategy is to get in as early as possible, or get in early as you can while it's making that 3%, 10%, 12%, whatever it is. And then once it kind of levels out and starts to decrease, the payout will get less. Maybe it'll pay out 2%, maybe it'll pay out 1%, maybe it'll fluctuate, right? But you're just collecting passive payouts while it's kind of decreasing in the balance, in the contract balance, right? So again, take a big takeaway, get in super duper early as you can. Crypto egg, this one here still has 1,020 BNB. Yeah, this is still doing its thing. But this was the original 10% one. It's still running. Think about it. If you were back in the traditional ROI contracts, anything that was paying 10%, I mean, it only ran for a couple of days. This one here has been running for a couple of months. So yeah, that's an indicator of, you know, maybe it's an indicator of how long these things will run, right? Because this one here is a crazy 10% daily one, and it's still running. BUSD miner. So how much is in the contract here? $90,000 still in the contract, still doing its thing. This is the cake miner. This is the original cake miner. This one here was hovering around $1 million. Now it's at 966. So again, it took a long while for it to dip under that $1 million mark. So again, this one here is not draining at all. It's decreasing for sure, but it's not draining and tanking like we've seen in the past with other ROI contracts. Again, because these do have an algorithm that prevents it from doing that. This is the 10% miner, cake miner. This one has the auto compounding. To be clear, the way it works is when people withdraw, 75% of what they're withdrawing actually goes back into the contract, right? So this one here might be able to run for a long time because this is the first of its kind. I think there's already been a couple of forks of these, but this is the first of its kind where, there was a forced compounding feature when people withdrew. You can see here, there's $96,000 worth of cake still in the contract. So yeah, this has been really, really good. Let's take a quick look at ADA. This one here is 123,568. ADA still in the contract. This one here has been super duper profitable for a lot of people. And yeah, good way to stack that Cardano, right? XRP, this one here still has 119,267 XRP in the contract. This is another one. You guys got in on this on day one. Congrats. Because this one here has been, again, another super profitable miner. We got in on this super duper early when it first launched. Shiba miner got 9.3 million. This one still has $72,000 worth of Shiba in the contract. So this one here is still doing its thing. This is CNS, 24.3 million CNS still in the contract. And let me see what CNS has been doing. I'm not exactly sure. Might be, let's see here. Yeah, it's still up, still up. I know SafePal, which I'm going to show you here in a second. This one here is up too. Yeah, up 13.77%, which is the next miner I'll show you. This one here has 4,493 SafePal still in the contract. This was a 12% one. And it's not draining. As long as these things aren't draining, I'm happy, right? 12% a day. This one here, Bitcoin, price of Bitcoin has been going crazy. So this one here has been doing well. Just under 3 BTC still in the contract. Rex, this one here is, I guess people are just throwing it in here because there's nothing else to do, right? There's nowhere else you can put it. This one here jumped from 300 million all the way to just under 700 million Rex. And yeah, I mean, why not, right? Might as well get 1%, whatever it is, 1%, 2% a day, 3% a day. I think this was paying out 3% a day because the contract is blown up. So why not do that instead of just, sitting on your Rex? By the way, quick update on Rex. This thing is going to, I think they're launching the 2.0 version soon. I don't know why it's not coming up. I was just on it. But yeah, do not buy from the auction, obviously. If you're gonna get into Rex 2.0, just hang out and just wait till wait till they launch it. I'm interested to find out who's jumping into Rex 2.0. If you're jumping into Rex 2.0, leave a comment underneath this video. I'd love to find out, what people's feelings are or thoughts are. Are they done with this and they want to move on, take the L from Rex 1.0 and just keep it moving, or do they want to jump in Rex 2.0? What are your thoughts? Are you going to jump in? Are you going to sit it out? Are you done? Let me know. Leave a comment underneath this video. All right, guys, let's keep it moving here. Cake Infinity Miner. This one here, 14,000 cake still in the contract. Let me jump over to Matic. All right, so yeah, here, let me go to the hex. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the Matic network. It's a super slow network, but you know, it serves its purpose. And again, there was no other way I can jump into a hex miner if I didn't jump into the Matic network. This one here still has about 800,000 hex in it, still doing its thing. Again, like I've said before, I'll say it again, these things aren't draining like we've seen in the past. These things is a slow burn, even though a lot of them have come down. It's still, you know, these contracts are still working. You know, is there a benefit to jumping into these things now that they've decreased? Like I said, the benefit is that you'll be getting miners at a very, very, very cheap price. Not saying for you to do that. Obviously, the best time to get in on these things is at the very, very beginning. But again, we're seeing some of these contracts, you know, get a spike because people are doing that. You know, people are doing that. You see, Hex was the other one I wanted to look at. I think that was it. Here's the ETH one. This one still has about 24.5 ETH in it. And then last but not least is the Tron miner. A little bit more than 500,000 TRX still in the contract. So yeah, these things are doing what they're doing. Yeah, these miners have been doing great, and especially when the market goes through a correction. We've seen a couple of corrections in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we're going through one right now. Nothing major. I'm not really concerned about that. But while it does that, we have these miners that are paying out, you know, an average of 1%. You know, it's not a bad thing. So, yeah, very, very exciting stuff, guys. Just wanted to give you a couple of updates. Got lots going on this week, so make sure you're plugged in. Make sure you're following me on Telegram. Make sure you are plugged into this channel, you're subscribed, you hit the little bell icon so you're ready and notified whenever I post a big brand new video. Again, only put in what you can afford to lose, guys, but these miners have been working really, really well. And when I say well, I'm talking about they're working, right? Some of you guys are like, oh, it was paying 3%, now it's paying 1%. I'm not happy. And I get it, right? But would you rather it have drained to zero and now you're not even able to withdraw anything? Or would you take the 1%, right? Because again, average platforms out there are paying about 1%. Drip is paying 1%. A lot of these other platforms that are, you know, centralized that we jump into, a lot of times they're paying an average of 1%. So, I mean, I'll take it any day of the week. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.